In a so-called free state, officials and stakeholders concoct solutions to problems often created by other bureaucrats and with little regard for infringements on the people. These stories are born at the apex of freedom and entrepreneurship. We foolishly advocate for the taxpayer. Brian's Beat presents Freedom Fools.
Yes, indeed. Happy Saturday. Hope things are going well. Nice out. Love when it's like this. I really do. And we got a pretty full boat for you today, so strap yourself in, get the engine ready. Brian's Beat presents Freedom Fools. We sure are. Welcome to August 16th. This is Clear the Shelters Day. And I wondered about that at first because of everything that we've been experiencing over the past year plus. Actually, I guess it's been 2 years, right? Dealing with the shelters here in the Commonwealth. And so I'm thinking it has to do with homeless people. No, Clear the Shelters Day is about animals. Homeless Animal Day, Surveillance Day, that kind of stuff. Not people, animals. Today would be day 2 of Woodstock. If this were 1969, it is not. Actually, day 2, music-wise, may have been my favorite day with The Who, Janis Joplin, Santana, Grateful Dead, Creedence, Canned Heat. I think I'm going to feature some Woodstock music on this day of freedom, day 2, the Saturday, just as it was in 1969. The quote of the day, a woman always remembers. Remember that. A woman always remembers. Remember that. That quote from Magic Johnson. Wonder what made him come up with that particular quote. I don't know. At any rate, 508-996-0500. That's how you get onto the program. If you listen to Brian's Beat last evening, pretty much right off the get-go, I got a phone call from a woman who was letting me know that there's going to be a fundraiser. They hope it's a big fundraiser tomorrow from noon until, I believe, 5 or 6 o'clock. Don't quote me on the time. But it does start at 12 noon over at Tremblay's Bus Company, which is in New Bedford on Myrtle Street, not far from the car wash that got iced a few months ago. Anyway, why are they doing this? The Cape Verde Islands got smacked with, at that time, Tropical Storm Erin. And in case you haven't heard, Tropical Storm Erin is now a Category 5 hurricane. Getting closer and closer to us, but the original damage was done in the Cape Verde Islands. And the place was devastated. That is why there is a fundraiser tomorrow over at Tremblay's Bus. What they are asking for are quite a few things. And if you can help out, all the better. They're looking for hygiene products, first aid products. And when you think about that, think about Band-Aids, think about Ace bandages, those kind of things. Really important. Rubbing alcohol. Kids and adults' clothing. You know, we're coming to the end of summertime. It's always nice weather over there on the Cape Verde Islands. Some of last year's, some of this year's summer wear would be very handy. over there right now. Non-perishable food and unopened bottles of water. And that includes distilled water. All types of batteries. These are just some of the things needed. I will bring this up again later on during the program today, but the fundraiser starts at noon tomorrow over at Tremblay's Bus on Myrtle Street in New Bedford. We brought up yesterday the idea, a couple of ideas. One, the New Bedford City Council should be taking up some interesting items. One, dealing with the City Council actually voting on making it some type of ordinance, law, whatever you want to call it, at the request of Brian Gomes, Councilor Gomes. He wants the ordinance committee to meet with the legal counsel of the City Council and to establish an ordinance that would require all persons hired by the New Bedford Police Department to be a U.S. citizen. And we talked about that yesterday, along with the fact that there are a couple of counselors that are pushing for a ballot question. A ballot question, basically doing the same thing. I stated on yesterday's program, if the City Council has any kind of vote with this, it should be a non-binding referendum, basically stating how they feel. I'm not sure that there are enough votes to make it happen. And I'm saying it because I don't know. I know of 4, maybe 5 definite yes votes. But you need 6 to pass, and I believe 8 if the mayor slaps a veto. And I don't know that they have all of those votes. Most people calling in on yesterday's program and other times when we have talked about this particular issue, they say, they believe that you should be a U.S. citizen. And when I ask them if they have ever asked a police officer if they are a U.S. citizen or if they intend on asking, no. So how are you going to know? Why go down this particular road? All right, let's hear from you. 508-996-0500. I do appreciate your call. Hello.
Hi, Brian. How are you? It's Erica Lima.
Well, hello, and how are you?
I'm doing very well, a little overwhelmed for tomorrow, but everything's going smoothly. I can't wait to help these people in Sound Defense and to talk to you and your listeners about this amazing drop-off tomorrow that me and Charlie Perry are going to be collaborating on.
Well, I did hear from Charlie today, and not that I didn't believe you yesterday, but he reaffirmed the fact that this is going on, and that's why I brought it up earlier today. Is there anything that you would like to add that I didn't throw in there?
I just want the people to understand in our community that it takes all of us, and it doesn't matter how small or big of a donation it is, to come together. It doesn't matter if you're Cape Verdean, not Cape Verdean. It doesn't matter if you're part of this community or any other community. We're literally having Boston coming, like people from Boston, including Moises Rodriguez, who's been amazing from the Cape Verdean Boston Association. And he's also running for mayor out there. And we got him coming. We got other politicians from there coming, including Michael Nunes, who's running for city councilor. We've got their organizations from Cape Verde. We got people out here, like I said, and we're all just trying to come together. And I'd love for you and the listeners to come because Hurricane Erin has really affected a lot of the people of Saint Vincent.
Let me ask you something. This apparently has been very devastating. I look quickly to, after hearing from Charlie, to try to get a little gauge of what's going on. My question to you, there are a couple. The first one would be, I did not hear anything about this on MSNBC, ABC, the regular news channels, even New England cable news. They didn't bring up anything until you brought it to my attention yesterday afternoon. I was oblivious to what went on.
Horrible, right?
Any idea why it's not making any kind of, especially with the heavy Cape Verdean population from Plymouth, Brockton, all the way through Providence? I mean, you would think that some of the local stations might carry this.
That's why, I had to bring it to you guys' attention, because the only people that have been talking about this is RTV and the other Portuguese news outlets. I mean, there's nothing on any of the American ones, and we're talking about a huge devastation. There's been a lot of casualties and people missing. I mean, there was a mudslide with at least 1 meter high that swept there. And, the islands and the aftermath from the water damage of the flood and the rain that happened on August 11th, it's devastating. I mean, the buildings, the infrastructures, the government of Cape Verde has declared a state of calamity for 6 months, and they are having no help. That's why I had to raise our communities together, whether it's Brockton, New Bedford. We have to put egos aside. We need to come together, the people for the people, because they have no help. I mean, the people are becoming hostile, Brian. The schools.
No, I don't. I mean, what you are dispensing to me at this particular time, like I said, absolutely oblivious. And it sounds like what happened is almost like icing on the cake to other things that were going on. Is that correct?
Yes. It's just, Brian, it's crazy. All of this is crazy. We need as much media and attention on this, from this event that we're having, for the other event that there's going to be going on, that Edie from the Healing Villa Co. is doing in another week and a half. There's got to be attention on all this for the people of Sound Defense. If we can all put our egos aside, like I said, and come together, all the communities, all the people that can make a difference, from organizations, committees, nonprofits, people like yourself that have a platform to speak on this, the politicians, I feel like we can all make a difference, the people for the people, and that is what those people need.
Have you reached out to the city councilors? There are several city councilors that are of Cape Verdean descent. What are they doing? How are they helping? I know Charlie ran at one time for city council.
And mayor. He ran.
Oh, that's
for mayor
right too, and mayor too. Yeah.
Yep. He's amazing. Just an amazing person. Like I said, he's been such a help. He's an inspiration and somebody very honorable in the community, especially the Cape Verdean and the American community out here. Just amazing person. We have Ian Abreu, who is going to attend. We also have Renee Fernandez, who's running for Ward 5. And we're expecting some other people. I'm not sure if they're going to come, but so far we have a definite for Renee Fernandez from running for Ward 5, and Ian Abreu. And also, like I said, we're going to have Moises, the mayor-elect of Brockton. He will be coming, and he's the president for the Cape Verdean Association.
How about the city council president, Shane Burgo?
I did reach out to Shane Burgo and Derek Baptiste, and I'm hoping they can come. I haven't heard back from them yet, but they did say that they would do anything they could for the community. So hopefully,
and I believe that they would.
Me too.
I guess I'm coming back to where I was before, because this is, it's like out of the blue. Your phone call came out of the blue yesterday. I'm talking about something else that's affecting the community. You call in and you make your pronouncement, and I'm saying, what the hell is she talking about? And then you find out this has been going on, and then I'm scratching my head, because I'm hearing about Gaza. I brought this up yesterday. You know, you got the president and Putin and Ukraine and all that kind of stuff. And absolutely lost in all of this is the fact that a community that is heavily diasporaed over here isn't getting any kind of play. And I'm thinking, what's going on here?
Yep. I'm glad you see this. This is why I had to call you. I knew that you and Ken Pittman would see this once I told you guys and see the vision of what I'm trying to create with Charlie and the other people that are starting to do things after our event and whatnot, because there's no publicity on this at all. People need to know. People need to be informed. There needs to be awareness. There is nothing that anybody is finding out about this. And this is crazy that the Portuguese channels, all of their outlets are discussing this, but yet not one American publication knows about this, you know? And I know that you and Ken are for the people, and WBSM. I love you guys. I've been listening to you guys since I was a kid in my mom's car when she would drive me to school every day. So it's like, I was like, you know what? I'm calling them because they're for the people, and I know you guys are going to do your best to get the word out and raise awareness, even for this event and even after this event, just so people are aware, because what's going on in Cape Verde right now is just, it's completely devastating. It's heartbreaking, you know, and they're not getting any attention, and they need all the awareness as possible. I mean, there are casualties. There's still people missing. And there's nothing going on. There's no help being given to these people. You know what I mean? Like, they're still like. So
that none of the African nations are helping out or able to help out. I mean, I don't know. Again, until you brought this up last evening, I had no clue. I knew that there was a tropical storm making its way, like all these tropical storms. They start off in Africa and they meander their way, and they, normally they go to the Lesser Antilles and all that kind of stuff. But I had no idea what you were talking about.
And it's sad that nobody knows, and it's not you guys' fault. It's the fact that there needs to be a lot more people in the community and in these committees and organizations that actually step up and play their roles and their positions for these communities to give a voice. Why be on a committee or run an organization that has to do with Cape Verde but not get the word out? That's why I teamed up with the association, the Cape Verdean Association of Brockton, because the president over there, Moises Rodriguez, he's been amazing. He's been organizing drop-offs and all types of events with all these other communities. They just did one with Pawtucket recently at a drop-off, and now he will be coming tomorrow to our event because, it doesn't matter if we're from Brockton, New Bedford, Pawtucket, wherever. If we can all come together as a community and raise our voices.
Yeah, I would agree. I think first things first, you have to know what's going on in order to raise that voice. And as I claim ignorance because that's just not the direction I was looking at this time. When did Aaron actually hit
August 11th.
Cabo Verde? When?
August 11th.
11th, so that would have been Monday.
Yep, and it was just absolutely horrible. If you look at the pictures of this, it's completely devastating. The pictures on my flyer are of it that me and Charlie have for our drop-off event. It's sad. This is exactly like Puerto Rico, exactly like that in Hurricane Hart, all of that. And
yeah, no, the difference is I heard about Puerto Rico.
Exactly.
I mean, I hear when a typhoon hits the Philippines. I'm just absolutely lost. Well, and again, I come back. The news cycle has been so heavy with Donald Trump, this, Washington, D.C., that, Putin, that kind of stuff, Gaza, that sadly, a major catastrophe just got knocked off the front page. Thank you so much. Again, you're starting at noon. Noon to 6, right?
Yep, at Tremblay Bus Company, 284 Myrtle Street in New Bedford, Mass. And it's the Reynolds Street Law of Sawyer Street. And we encourage everybody to come. Any donation, large or small, is welcome. It doesn't matter. Just come, support, bring what you guys can. Everything is going to the people of San Vicente we've got the right organizations involved in America, my organization, the Cape Verdean Association, my treasurer of my foundation. She is the one that is in communication with the mayor of, of Santiago, which is in the island of Santiago. And he has strong ties, obviously being in the mayor office, to the mayor of the island, San Vicente, where it happened. And then, like I said, Charlie Perry's been amazing too. And then the Cape Verdean Association of Brockton, Moises, the president, he has been in communication with an amazing organization as too. And the organization is the Cape Verdean American Medical Association of Surgeons and Doctors that are there on those front lines, on the devastation, giving emergency aid to these people also. And we are working with the Cape Verdean Red Cross as well. So
I'm going to give you a couple of other places to try. The two major cab companies in the city of New Bedford, Bluebird and Town. They are both run by great strong Cape Verdean people. Reach out to them because I know they'd like to help too.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you for having me. And thank you for showing your support. And I hope to see you and Ken and everybody from WBSM come. And
that is the other question. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You got to hear my question because there are going to be people that cannot, for whatever reason, I've got guests in from out of town that cannot make the event tomorrow. What can they do in order to, they have supplies, whatever. What can we do to get stuff to you so you still have it?
Okay, so what you guys can do, or anybody else who can't make it, is you guys can get in touch with me or Charlie Perry through our foundation pages, his Facebook, Charlie Perry, or you can get through to mine, which is the E. Lima Foundation. And if you don't have Facebook, what you can do is email me or him or find his number and call him. And what we can do is we can meet up with you guys and collect your stuff and put it in where we're storing it before it gets shipped off.
Okay.
So we could do that. And then any donations, definitely contact the Cape Verdean Association of Brockton for any financial things that you guys might want to donate, or any of your listeners. That's all going to the people as well. Everybody, I got to warn to be careful. There's a lot of fraud stuff going on out here. Be careful who you donate to. I want everybody to donate where they feel comfortable, but be very careful because a lot of stuff is it's crazy. It's bad.
Gotcha.
What's going on with fraud.
Okay, thank you. I do appreciate it.
Thank you as well. You have
right.
a great week.
You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, I try my best to watch as much news as possible. And this story either did not get coverage on the different channels that I watch, and multiple channels. I would love to believe more channels than you could even comprehend. But this story absolutely got by me. So anyway, that fundraiser is noon to 6 tomorrow over at Trembley's Bus, and they're located on Myrtle Street, closer down toward Nauset. 508-996-0500. That's how you get onto the program today. The other topic that I want to get in, let me back up. Let me forward track backwards here. Hour 3, the 3 o'clock hour of today's show, we're going to talk to the spokesperson for the initiative petition for an act to eliminate or reform and regulate legislative stipends. The extra money that Bacon Hill lawmakers seem to be able to pocket because they're on this committee or that committee, and money for traveling You know, you've got lawmakers that live in the western part of the state. Well, they got to travel out here. They get extra money for that. That kind of crap. Anyway, so we're going to talk about that during the 3 o'clock hour with Jonathan Hecht. Next hour, New Bedford School Committee member Melissa Costa is going to join us in studio to talk about the Safe Zone resolution that she helped to put together and helped to get passed by the school committee earlier this week. Same date as the tropical storm hit Cape Verde. That Monday. So we're going to talk to Melissa Costa next hour. She'll be in studio, and you can reach out to her also. And then that leads to the remainder of this hour, of which I would like to concentrate heavily on this whole idea about either a ballot question or the New Bedford City Council voting to require that any police officer, New Bedford police officer, be a U.S. citizen. Now, I'm really not crazy about that. I think as a caller stated yesterday, the genie's pretty much out of the bottle. And I'm not quite sure that whether the City Council passes some type of ordinance or the voters vote in to require each person to be a U.S. citizen. I'm not quite sure how constitutional that is. Might be. I'm not trying to say it's not. I do have questions regarding it. I think that the upper echelon of the government structure of New Bedford, the police department and the mayor's office, can't speak for the solicitor's office, don't know any. I do know one person that works over there, but I don't know what their thought process is. And then you've got the city council president, attorney. And I'm not sure what he would state to the ordinance committee, how he would suggest writing something like this up. Brian Gomes is pushing this forward. I'm going to guess. I don't know. I'm going to guess that Councilor Gomes has already reached out to David Jaratowski and had a few syllables with him to find out, can we do this? Should we do this? Et cetera, et cetera. And so we move forward with that. I think it's the wrong. I think it sends the wrong message about the city of New Bedford. I think it says, hey, we are regressing. We think that everybody, that doesn't matter, that as long as you followed the rules, we want a new rule, and that new rule is that you need to be a U.S. citizen. I don't live in the city. I don't have any say over this. As I mentioned to Councilor Carney as we were texting back and forth to each other, I said, look, at best, the council should vote non-binding just to let the people know how they feel, and then the people should make this decision. Bottom line, this should come down to how you feel as a New Bedford resident. Do you think that your police officers who've already sworn to an oath should also be a U.S. citizen in order to validate that oath? There are New Bedford police officers who have gotten into trouble, and I would tell you that each one of those police officers has been a U.S. citizen. Are you worried that a police officer who is not a U.S. citizen can't follow the laws of the land? of which they have already sworn an oath to? Or do you think that what is it? What is it that is in the back of your head that is saying that a person can't arrest a U.S. citizen because they are not a U.S. citizen? What is gnawing at you? And the reason why I say it like that, there was a time in this country when black people had a hard time getting on the police force, and they were U.S. citizens, and there was a hard time of allowing them to become a U.S. citizen. We had to go through a war, and then after a war, we had to actually have amendments to the Constitution. What do you think, folks, and again, this is New Bedford, so again, you are all right to feel as you do and not have a racist tinge attached to you for that feeling. But we have other communities here in the Commonwealth that openly allow folks who are legal residents, green card holders as they are. And by the way, I got a call last week, I believe, somebody asking that question. And I did look it up. A green card holder is a legal resident of the Commonwealth, of the country. You know, that's the green card, I guess, is that designation. It also allows you to work. 508-996-0500. And what bothers you? That a person, you're not even going to ask the person who is arresting you. That should be the furthest thing from your mind. If you're getting stopped by the police, are you a U.S. citizen? Nobody has stated to me that that's going to be one of the first questions out of their mouth. If somebody has stopped you, maybe for speeding, license and registration. No, I want to see your paperwork that says you are a U.S. citizen. Do you know how dumb that sounds? That's pretty embarrassing for a city. I can hardly wait to hear what the mayor thinks. My guess is when he comes back to be on Chris's show next week, that this will come up. The city council will talk more about it, I believe, on Thursday. But I just sit here and I think this is 2025, not 1925, 2025. And you have at least 5 New Bedford city councilors who believe that you should be a U.S. citizen in order to be a New Bedford police officer. And there's going to be a vote, maybe, in council chambers. And there's the possibility of a ballot question. And I say possibility. I did reach out to Manny DeBrito, who is the commissioner for the election department in New Bedford, because I'm curious. What was it? Not last week, but the week before was the deadline for folks to get in their questions for initiative petitions, ballot questions for 2026. Now, that's statewide. It's a larger process. I get that. But it made me wonder, is there still time for the city council and for citizens to get a ballot question for this coming November, which is right around the corner, certainly a year. What are we looking at? 3 months? I don't know with the city council if they have to turn around and get any other signatures other than councilors, okay, in order to get a ballot question on. But there you have it, right there. They can just kind of swoop in and get a ballot question on like that, lickety split. That's the way it is. Maybe they can. I'm not saying that they can't. And I do believe, no matter how I stand on this issue, it's Brian's stance. I do believe that this has gotten to a particular point where the residents of the city of New Bedford should indeed vote on this. Never mind what kind of hanky-panky may have been going on with, well, it said it on the website. Well, the website is nothing definitive. But I think that there are enough people in the city of New Bedford that are questioning this, that it's a good idea that it become a ballot question, not something for the city council to answer. Something for the residents of the city to answer. All right, let's hear you. 508-996-0500. Thank you. Hello.
Hello, Brian.
Hello, Brian.
So you said there was other communities doing it. Who else is doing it? Because the mayor said Brockton and Attleboro are doing it, and he was wrong.
So that's the listing that I had. I don't know about Attleboro. I do know, because the sheriff, who was the former
sheriff,
mayor,
yes,
said that they didn't do it. But I do believe Brockton, and I do know that it's acceptable throughout the United States, throughout the Commonwealth.
Okay, so Chris was at a clam bake last week with police from all over the state. None of them had ever heard of anything like that. And the chief from Brockton said, we don't even do that in Brockton.
Really? Well,
yes.
I think, I can't speak because I can't speak. I do know that it's allowed in Brockton. Whether they do it in Brockton or not is an entirely different thing.
Well, I mean, that's not the way it sounded. He said he talked to as many people at the clam bake as he brought it up to. He said, every one of them said, I don't even think that's legal. What are you talking about? Who does that? Nobody.
Here's how I found out. I went up to the state's website, and it says that you legal. Well, but then it means it's allowed.
Well, that's because Maura Healey wants it to be allowed.
I don't think Maura Healey has anything to do with that. I think it existed. No, I think it existed before Maura Healey ever got into the governor's office.
I don't think so.
Really? So in other words, you're willing to think that this just happened over the past couple of years?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Because everybody else said they've never. Chris said everyone he talked to at that clam bake said, I've never heard of such a thing. I don't think that's even legal. Who's going to do that?
Wait a minute. Well, okay, so they didn't think it's legal yet. It's right there in black and white that it is legal. So, I mean, let's question everybody here. I'm not questioning Chris. I'm sure he talked to a lot of people. Maybe he didn't talk to everybody. Because it's right there. It's right there in the Commonwealth. It's there on the Commonwealth. They can be working in the field. It doesn't mean they know everything.
So did you see when it was added to that?
No, but I saw that it was there. No, I did not see. I did not see a date that said it started in 2022 or 2017.
That's when I think we should look at that. That's what I think we should look at.
Okay, but it's there. No matter what, it's there.
But we saw how easy it was to change on the website for New Bedford.
Yes.
You can do it overnight.
Well, the difference between you're right in saying that. The difference is it was in a frequently asked questions on the New Bedford site. That is not the way it is in the Commonwealth site.
It's a frequently answered question. How many people ask that question all the time, and they were answering it all the time? So why would you put down
I'm not arguing any of that, okay?
No, I know.
That is not the argument is pretty simple, okay? Let's get out of that crap, okay? That crap's over. Should the people vote for this or not? That's where we are today.
No.
They shouldn't vote for it.
I don't think so.
Why not?
Because I think they'll have because I think certain groups will get a bunch of people together to go out and vote who probably never vote before and get it done and say, yes, we want that. When it's not really what New Bedford wants. That's why. I think
Okay, so I want to be clear about that. So, in other words, certain groups within the city of New Bedford are going to go out and get people to go out to vote that probably wouldn't have voted before. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's what I believe.
But they're going to be residents of the city of New Bedford, and that's what they're going to vote for. And then
I mean, like you said, we've already established that they could be illegal aliens because they've got an ID. So they could be illegal aliens even though they're not supposed to vote, but they could be.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm gonna let it fly. I hear people make that kind of statement, but there's never been any real proof that that's happened. I've talked to the commissioner of the department. I've talked to folks in Dartmouth, in Fairhaven, and in Acushnet. There's no record of that happening. I know people feel like that kind of stuff happens, but there's just no record of it. So let's try to get to the meat and potatoes and throw a lot of that gravy train off the bandwagon. I do appreciate your call. 508-996-0500. We'll see what happens. I think the voters should. And, whichever way the cookie crumbles, it crumbles, If it's this contentious, if people are worried, well, did Maura Healey do it? And let's let the good people and the bad people, the registered voters, the legal folk, let's let them make the decision.
Give me liberty or give me death.
I just think we need to kill them, every one of them, and that's it. And if not that, because the country will not let that happen, the government. Just the least we can do is just kick them out of our land, because this is our home, this is our land, and we deserve it.
Young lady, I think that they're trying to kick them out. And the music, we are featuring music from Woodstock. This would have been day 2 of Woodstock, and it was actually in 1969. Hello.
I used to be a singer, and I still am. Anyway, hi.
Hi.
Yeah, the last woman. Did I hear you right? Hear right? You still there?
I'm listening.
Thank you. That about the police hiring the illegals. That maybe more of the voters will come out and try to get rid of this or get rid of the mayor.
I think what she was saying is that folks would get illegals to register to vote and come out to vote it down, so that so the ruling could be as it is right now, that you could be either a legal resident or a citizen to be a police officer.
So she doesn't want people to be a citizen, a regular United States citizen.
No. What she wants, she didn't come out and say it. My interpretation is that she wants just U.S. citizens to be New Bedford police officers.
Oh, great. That's what I thought. But
and so her fear is that other groups will get people to come out to vote that normally don't vote, whether they are here legally or not, or whether they are citizens or not, and get them to vote.
I gotcha. All right. I was a little confused there, Brian. But yeah, I'm the one that called, and you corrected me earlier with Ken with Raleigh Fingers. I said Eckersley. That was me earlier.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I was trying to. Yet we didn't have time. And the catcher was Thurman Munson for the A's.
No.
Correct?
No.
Oh.
Thurman Munson was the Yankees catcher. He died in a plane crash.
Wasn't he the A's at the time?
Rookie of the year.
You're right.
Rookie of the year for the Yankees.
Then who? You're right. Who was the? Who was
Gene
the A's
Tennis.
Yes, Gene Tennis. That's right. I'm sorry.
No, nothing to be sorry about.
I just didn't look up at all. I just think back, but yeah, I'm an old school baseball nut, if you will. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm out Cincinnati, and my team got beat the hell by Milwaukee last night. And I was pissed. We were up 3-0, up 2 or 3-0, something like that.
It's the thing about baseball; they play 9 innings.
Yeah. You watch the game?
No, I was following the Red Sox and trying to follow the Yankees. I'm more of a Yankee fan.
Yeah. I did watch the highlights of both of them because I love Red Sox. See, I'm a Dolphin fan like you, right?
Yeah, I like the Dolphins. I don't know that I consider myself a Dolphin fan, but I'll take the Patriots over the Dolphins.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine. But my point is, I thought you were a Dolphin fan. I'm a Dolphin fan, Cincinnati Reds fan, but if my team doesn't go, I route for the Red Sox.
Oh, there you go.
For the home team.
Yeah, well, if the Yankees keep playing the way the Yankees have been playing the past 8 weeks, I'll be rooting for the Red Sox too.
Oh, me too. Yeah, I do. I like the Red Sox this year. It's scrappy. What team was it? Was it 2014? And they weren't expected to go, and they won the World Series. Was it that
2013.
year? 13. That was close. All right.
That's because 2012 they had a miserable year with a miserable manager. Hey, gotta let you go, but thank you for your call. I do appreciate it. Hour 2, Melissa Costa with the New Bedford School Committee is going to join us on Freedom Fools.
December 7th, a date which will live in infamy.
Social media companies can no longer hide the crimes that take place on their platforms, especially when they pose a threat to America's national security.
Never figured out exactly what America's national security was in that particular case. The New Bedford School Committee voted 4-2 on Monday evening to approve a resolution declaring